Hi everybody, this is Ospreyeye from MyChartCoach.com, and in this video we're going to take a look at some of the stocks that were in play today. Okay, first up is ECYT. I'm going to try to cover this quickly. They were up huge on today's news, and yeah, when a stock is breaking out and running high, running hard, you never know how high it's going to run. You just have to follow the charts, and so this is one of those plays that just kept on going. As you can see over here, it had a big gap up open above the 100-day simple moving average at 164. That's the gold line, and it broke above the 200 and the 300-day simple moving averages, and then there was this gap over here. This was the bottom of the gap and the top of the gap. It ended up filling the gap, and then it kept running, and it ran up here to this May resistance level, and it broke that at 270, 275, and then the next big level to break was up here on May high close resistance, and it busted above that and closed well above it for the day. So I mean, this was monster move, just going nuts. And so if you yeah, you can see the huge volume behind the move. Look at the giant volume, 55 million shares traded. Yeah, there was a PSAR bull flip. You know, it is an overbought level, both overbought levels on both indicators. But the key is that the stock is pushing hard, and it was running in after hours trading. That's exactly what you want to see if you're a swing trader. So it's looking like it's going to have a gap up open, and the after hours price right now is up here around 440, around 440, 446, something like that. And so it looks like it's going to have a so on this chart, this candle will fill up because this is a weekly candle, and it looks like it's going to break above this resistance from 2016. The high close from April here is going to be the big level to break, and so that's at that's at 410. And so we'll see if it can if there can be an open above that level today or tomorrow, and then the next big level to break is going to be the 200-week moving average up here at 531. So mark that down. That's going to be the big level. If it can break above the 200-week moving average, then you have the 300-week moving average up here at 685. So this was really a strong move. Big reaction after hours. The notice here that there's a parabolic SAR bullish flip on the weekly chart. You know, this is getting a new uptrend going. Keep in mind the weekly candle does not set until the closing bell on Friday. And then if you look at the ECYT 15-minute chart, you could see here when it was running today and it formed this candle at 11:15, that was high close resistance level to break. It pulled back, and then when it broke above it at 1 o'clock, that was signaling more upside potential. And then when you had a break back above that level, the 1 o'clock high close level at 2:30, that was signaling more upside, that it wanted to keep running. And notice how it ran all the way into the close. The candles were riding EMAs 4 and 8 support the entire day. The share price temporarily hit EMA 8, but it held EMA 4 for most of the day. As long as the candles keep riding EMA 4, the signal is just to keep on holding, because it signals more upside potential. That signals the chart is super strong. Once it breaks below EMA 8 on this chart, that's going to be your signal that it's cooling down. That's going to put the middle Bollinger Band on deck. As long as the middle Bollinger Band's holding, the uptrend's still intact. It's when the middle Bollinger Band breaks that it signals starts signaling the chart's cooling down and that there could be a pullback, and that's when you could see a big drop down to the 50 simple moving average at 210. Okay, so yeah, this is you know, just be sure to follow the intraday charts. They will lead to the pot of gold, and they'll signal when danger is coming. So yeah, look at VHC. This is another stock that had huge news today, and then it made a giant move. Notice how previously when RSI gets above 70, it has had sustained runs. If you look down here, both of these two big runs were with RSI above 70. So this big run here and this big run here. And so RSI just broke above 70 just now. So we'll see if we can get another run going. You've got Fasto here at 68, so that's not at overbought levels. And so today there was a close above this June high close resistance level, the June 7th close, and that's going to be the key level to turn into support. It's at about 530, so you want to see the candle stay above that level and push higher. So if they can push higher, then you're looking at a run back up into the sixes. If you look here on the chart, VHC is trading above all the moving averages. So so this is clear on breakout mode. And so we'll be looking tomorrow at the weekly chart to find the next resistance levels. Okay, so take a look at CRMD. This stock had a really nice day today as well. Notice it was up 32%. It is at overbought levels on RSI and Fasto. This had a close right above the bottom of the gap. Notice there's a gap back here between April, back here in April, and then the bottom of the gap is this last candle in April, the top of the gap, or top of the wick of that candle, and so it closed just above that level, and so it needs to stay above the bottom of the gap level in order to make a run up here to fill the gap and make a run to the 200-day simple moving average at 103. Notice there's a big space in the chart, so if it can stay above 68, that signals a potential run up to $1. If it drops back below 68, that's going to signal downside risk, and the candles could work their way back into the bands and test EMA4 down here at 57. Okay, so yeah, notice there's huge volume. This has been on a big multi-day run. Notice that it's been on a 4-day run, so hitting the bottom of the gap could be a climax. Keep in mind that is always a tough level to break, similar to one of the major moving averages like the 200-day simple moving average. Okay, so take a look at ATNM. Okay, this did break above 50, so it hadn't been above 50 for quite a while. You have to go back here. So back last time it was back above the middle Bollinger Band. So yeah, breaking above 50 today is on RSI and Fasto is signaling the chart is heating up. There was a bullish crossover on ADX, and so the big move today was the close above the middle Bollinger Band, and then right at the 50-day simple moving average. That's the green line at 64. So we're looking for a close above that level. We want to see that turn into support, and then a break above the top of this channel, and so that's lined up with the upper Bollinger Band here at 66. That's the if it can break above the 66 to 67 level, then you could potentially see a run up here. Notice there is a gap here between these two candles, so there could be a gap fill and a run up to the 100-day simple moving average at 95. So that's the next big resistance level to break. If it can close above the 50-day simple moving average and turn it into support. Notice there was a parabolic SAR bullish flip. The green dots are below the candles. There was a giant volume spike and a MACD bull cross. So the ATNM chart is really heating up. So take a look at GALT. This stock had a nice move today. It's trying to break out higher. Volume, it has been picking up, and then it's trading above the 100-day simple moving average. That was a break above that level today, and also a break above the high close level on September 26. So now it's hitting this key channel. This is a previous sideways channel, and so it's a big resistance zone. So it's going to need to get above this 255 level, 250, 255, in order to make a run up here. You've got the high close just below 270, and so it looks like it's trying to work its way back up to the threes. Ultimately, the key level is going to be back up here at this high close around 330. So this looks like it's trying to fill the jar back up to that level. Notice if you look at the moving averages over here, GALT is currently trading above all the moving averages. So the chart is very strong and very bullish, and it does have a good uptrend going. As long as the candles keep riding EMA4 support higher, the chart is signaling more upside potential. And currently, as long as it's staying above the 100-day simple moving average at 216, the chart's very strong. So yeah, good move for GALT. We'll see if the uptrend can continue. Look at RIGL here. It's got overbought levels on RSI and Fasto, and so this made a huge move today. It had a nice move on Friday, and then it had this big gap up open. Notice that there's a space between high of day on Friday and low of day today. That's the bottom of that candle, and that's the top of that candle, and so there's a big space in between the two candles. Currently, the share price is hitting back here the March high close resistance level. That's in the 340s. It needs to close above that level and turn it into support to break out higher. If it it fails to break above this 340 resistance zone, it could pull back and work its way back into the bands. Notice the EMA4 is all the way down here at 280. A huge volume spike behind the move. Yeah, so keep an eye on it. If it can break out and close above this 340, 345 resistance zone, that's going to signal more upside potential. Okay, take a look at ACRX. We're going to show you the weekly chart here for this stock. It is breaking out on the daily chart, and so notice that this week's candle is breaking above this red and blue line. That's the 200-day and 300 days, or 200 week and 300 week simple moving averages. So a close above the 300 week moving average at 532 would be very bullish if it could close above that level for the week. And then now it's currently hitting this 2015 November resistance level. That's the high close resistance, just about at 55 or so. And so it needs to close above that. And then if you look back here, there's a gap. There's a gap from back here in, it looks like March of 2015. And so the bottom of the gap is this red line right here. And so you could see a run up to the bottom of the gap if it can break above this resistance level here from November. And then the big move would be if it could close above the bottom of the gap, you could get a potential gap fill and a run up here to $9. Okay, so now let's take a look at, and then if it fails to break the bottom of the gap, or it fails to close above the 200 to 300 week moving averages for the week, because this is a weekly candle and it will not set until the closing bell on Friday, there is a gap below. Notice that there's a space between high of day or high of week from last week and low of week from this week, and so that gap could get filled if these two levels turn into resistance, and you could see EMA4 at 446 tested. Okay, so last chart to take a look at is JAGX. This is today's dead cat bounce play. And so notice how there were bounce players were loading on Friday. So you had the bottom feeders out here that drove the share price from down here in the 17s up here to 20. That's the lower wick there. That shows people buying. And then they were rewarded today with a nice gap up open. Okay, there was a small real candle body, but you've got the lower Bollinger Band still at 26. So the candles are still working their way into the bands. The lower Bollinger Band will be lower tomorrow. The big resistance level to break is going to be EMA4 at 29. Many times, dead cat bounce plays will hit that level and then stall out and continue lower. If it does close above EMA4, that would be very bullish, and then you could see a run up to EMA8. But yeah, this is a dead cat bounce play when you have a close well below the lower Bollinger Band. Many times the candles will work their way back into the bands, and notice how this candle is floating still below the lower Bollinger Band. So yeah, it could to just work its way back in there, and then the downtrend could continue. It would have to turn EMA4 into support in order to make a run possibly back up to that middle Bollinger Band. So yeah, here you go. Here's a look at some of the stocks that were in play today. There are quite a few more. But yeah, this is something to get you thinking about for tomorrow. Okay, thank you very much.